Hello, my beautiful friends. So today's message, still about hope, because we're still in the week of hope, is all about the future. So yesterday we talked about how we can only really hold our candle. And our candles all have the same wick, right? We all have the same little bit of brightness, but together our candles can make a brighter light. And often we think about hope in terms of the future and hopes for the future and our future generations, for maybe our children or our grandchildren or our great-grandchildren, right? And our ancestors wished the same for us. So I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about it last night. I teach at a four-year university. I teach literature, and last night was our last class, and the class was on American Romantics, which, if you're not familiar, it's Henry David Thoreau and Ralph Waldo Emerson and Walt Whitman and Edgar Allan Poe. And the course that comes after that is American Realism and Naturalism, which is Mark Twain, Stephen Crane, folks like that if you're into literature. So that's the genre. I'm an Americanist, and those are the time periods that I specialize in. So when I talk to my students, I give them sort of the Sermon on the Mount for the last night of class. I talk about what ended the Romantic movement. So the Romantic movement is marked by imagination and affinity for nature and creative expression and intuition, and the Transcendental movement. It's much like the spiritual movements of today, where God is in us and all around us, and you don't have to go to a place to find God because God is already here. And the spiritual, non-religious, sort of secular spiritual connections that exist. And what ended that period was the dawn of the American Civil War. So for the first time, the war was between people here. Before, the wars were, between different countries, us trying to get our freedom and our independence, or other countries out west doing whatever they were doing out there for property that we didn't really know about because we didn't have social media. But this war was literally in our backyard. And if you live in Pennsylvania like I do, it literally was in your backyard. There were dead men, dead horses, blood, and, gun smoke, and all of the awful things of war in your backyard. And your house could be taken over to be used as a hospital. There could be, dying soldiers on your dining room table. And so the reality of war, the reality of pain and suffering, brought an abrupt end to this idea of the imagination and creativity and intuition and things like that. Plus the advent of photography, which captured for the first time the actual horrors of war, and those images were then shared with people. Imagine if you didn't live near a war and then you saw a picture of dying or dead soldiers, laying in a battlefield somewhere. It was really horrific. And so the realist movement is marked by, really like sharing what life is really like, talking about using dialects and so I tell my students that the pendulum often swings between romantic and realist perspectives, and that most people are sort of in the middle of that. There are always extremes on either end, but most people fall somewhere in the pendulum swing. And I was thinking about them, and I was telling them, make good choices, be all that you can be. We're a Catholic university of St. Francis de Sales, so be all that you can be and be that well. And, and I always look at my students, I think, I have such hope for the future. They're so bright. They're 24 bright students. Most of them are upper grades, so 11th grade, juniors and seniors in college. Every once in a while I have some graduate students. I very rarely have English majors, but I had a few this semester. And I always look at them with wonder, because they are our hope, and they're so bright, and they're so smart. And, I think we worry because we sit behind these computers and we see all the bad stuff that happens in life. But when you look at the youth and when you look at young people, you can see the hope of the future. These are smart and capable and generous and affectionate human beings who are prepared for the challenges that they're going to face. And when I think back to my days in college, I actually went to this college myself as an undergrad, I would never have predicted the path that my life took. And so they're, getting started on their journey, and 20 years, 30 years from now, their lives are going to look a lot different than they do today. But it's okay, because they're so wonderful. You know, they really, yes, generations are different. They taught me a phrase last night that I never heard of before. They're always teaching me new things. What did they teach me last night? End game. I never knew what that meant before. Apparently that's like when you meet the person of your dreams, that's the end game. I had no idea. I'm like, I need a translation. Where are the subtitles? So, you know, like they're different and they look at work differently and they look at problems differently, but they have different kinds of problems than we had. So, of course, they're going to look at them differently. And I'm sure my parents' generation looked at us and said, oh my gosh, you know, what a bunch of whatevers. Like we say, what, you know, but, you know, we're making it. We're working it out. So, you know, so we can have hope in the future. We can have hope that there are good people, good young people that are coming up through the world that are going to make great decisions. So today's message is about, you know, we can be hopeful about the future. We can trust our young people to do the right things in the future. So I'm excited. I never thought that I would get to almost 1,000 subscribers. So I had no idea that that was even possible. My channel's been very small for a long time, but I'm so thankful that you are here. There will be a giveaway when I hit 1,000, so if you'd like to be entered into that, please leave a comment about what you are hopeful for down in the comment section. If I will do a random drawing, and then I will send something Celtic to you from Weebox, Scotland, probably, or from one of my Scottish sources, but it'll be something Celtic. It'll be something not necessarily religious, because I know not everybody here is Christian, because we are a welcoming space that welcomes people from all traditions. So I am wishing you all the very best in love, and I am so grateful that you've joined me, and I look forward to chatting with you in the comments and learning more about your practices and beliefs. Be well. Take care. Bye-bye.